Hello, back on the bench. I have a Pac-Man board, which came out of a lot that I purchased on eBay. It's pretty dirty. It's pretty dirty, but it's complete. Actually, I popped a couple ROMs in right here. It was missing these ROMs, so I just put Miss Pac-Man ROMs in there that I had. The graphics won't be right, but that doesn't really matter. I'm just wanting to see if it comes up and does anything. So, well, someone's joining us. Get down. Get down. Get! Sorry about that. Okay, I'm going to switch this on and we can learn about this board together. Okay, power's on. Got sync problem and CPU problem, which is probably sockets. Okay. Yeah, I'm messing with the ROM sockets. I'm just pressing on these ROMs here. I can't get to these ones, but it's okay. I don't know if you saw that, but it was booting. Jeez, these sockets are terrible. Absolutely garbage. First order of business is I'm cleaning this board. I'm gonna wash it. Look how dirty it is. You see all that dirt? I'm gonna wash it and I'm going to replace the sockets. Look at, I get nothing. So yeah, and this socket could be, I mean, I don't know. I suppose this is the RAM addresser. If RAM isn't being addressed right, that could possibly, no, that's a sync problem. I think I'm gonna have to look at I'll verify the sync chain, but one thing at a time. This board is going to get washed and new sockets. So that will be the first course of action. All right, here I'm going to attempt to show a little bit of video of replacing. I'm taking out ROM sockets right now. I'm taking out all the sockets basically. So I'm just going to go through and how I do it. I got my Hakko FR300, which is awesome. And I use a little bit of solder to flow, just a touch to flow, to break it free. So I'm going to go through and do these 4 program ROM sockets real quick. A lot of those legs were bent over, hard to get to. You got to kind of straighten them up. See, they're all bent over. I'm just going to take a minute to hook them and straighten them a little bit. You really don't stay on there long. Give it a little bit of a swirl and get off it. Keep your tip from plugging. I just use a capacitor and just kind of do that. Okay, let's flip this over and I will remove, I believe it's this socket. What I do, you want to break the sweat joints on the ends where the pin goes in, so just kind of push it and pull it, and then it comes right out. Just like that. I'm going to go ahead and continue. Quick shot of clean board. Beautiful. The same treatment. Sprayed it down with simple green and used a toothbrush down the whole board, and then rinsed it. Dried it with an air compressor, and I soaked it with 91% alcohol on both sides, and then I used an air compressor to dry that. Okay, I got all of the sockets replaced. I got the RAM addresser socket, the bus controller, CPU bus controller socket, all of the ROM sockets, and the CPU socket down there has been replaced. Unfortunately, I did break a couple of traces that I had to fix, but I don't know. I guess I'll take it. 2 out of how many there were. Midway boards are terrible to work on. They're cheap and poorly made. These traces break and come up so easy on these boards. So I would suggest, if you're working on Midway boards, because these traces did not look like they were broke, but I always check continuity, especially on Midway boards. I always check continuity after doing work on them, because these traces just break. But anyway, that is stable now as far as connection goes, as far as ROM sockets and all the sockets. It ain't going to be resetting and not running and having to fidget with ROMs and whatnot. So now I just got what looks to be a sync problem, so I will move on to that. Well, as you can see, I did bring the fluke out just to verify that I can easily read all the RAM and everything. And I got my little cheat up right here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do RAM tests. So 4000 to 43FF is video RAM. So we'll go RAM short 4000 to 43FF. Okay. Now next we've got the color RAM 4400 to 47FF. So we'll go RAM short 44 to, what was it? 4FFF. No, 47FF. Thought I had that wrong. Okay, and I know the last RAM region is 4C00 to 4FFF. Okay. Now I did do ROM checks. These two are not original Pac-Man ROMs right here. These two are okay. These ones are some kind of hack. I'm not exactly sure. All right. And right now programming the ROM files for the Pac-Man. Right now I'm doing Pac-Man 5E. Okay, good. That is 5E. I'll put it there with my other ones. So that's 5E. So now we're going to do F. Now we're programming 5F. We'll wait for that to finish out. Okay, ROMs are all programmed, so I'll label these last two with a nice label and put it all back together and start finding what's going on with that sync problem. Okay, as you can see, I have the new ROMs that I burnt in. And really strange, it got even weirder. Which is very weird. So, we've got some serious logical failures going on somewhere. Something's going on. So first thing I want to do, I want to fix this sync problem. That's the very first thing I want to do, is get this thing synced up. So I'm going to look into that, look at the schematic, find the horizontal and vertical address counters, and check those out. Well, out of curiosity, when I was burning these ROMs, what did I do? When I loaded 5E up, I compared it to, I forget exactly what happened. Anyway, the file in the RAM of my programmer got corrupted. So I stuck this ROM back in there. And now the colors are correct, because I was just thinking that looks like a ROM error. It looked like a ROM error, so I just went ahead and swapped that one back in there. Now I'm going to have to reburn that. I pulled the label off of this. I'm going to erase it, and then I'm going to reprogram it. I reburnt the ROM. I erased it and reburnt it. And now the colors are correct. So yeah, that file got corrupted somehow, and I noticed it as it was burning. And I just thought maybe it'll be okay. Apparently not. But anyway, I erased it really quick, about 20 minutes, 25 minutes. And which was good anyway, because I had about 10 EEPROMs I needed to erase, so I went ahead and did that. And I reburnt it really quick. So now I've got a good ROM set. Now I can move on to the sync problem. Just getting around to doing a little testing. I'm on the schematic. What is it? 5H 74LS08. Inputs on 12 and 13 with composite sync, output on 11. You got inverse vertical sync going into 12, and horizontal sync is going into 13 from off that 74 at 3N. Okay, so I am probing pins 12, 13, and 11. And on my scope, you have 12 on the top, pin 13 in the middle, and on the bottom is output on 11. And it's an AND gate, and you can see it looks good. Should not be having a problem with sync. as far as this chip is not at fault, so I'm gonna keep looking around. I think what I'm gonna look at next is that 2P LS02? It's either, I think that's 2P, that NOR gate. I'm going to look at that inverse 256 horizontal line coming in, and then I'm going to look at the 74 at 2N and 3N, or no, it's just 3N. It's kind of hard to read this. I'm going to look at the LS10 at 3P, make that NAND gate, 3 input NAND. I'm going to look at that. And I'll look at the vertical blanking signals coming off of 5M. This little section right here is the next thing. I've already checked. There's a up a little bit. There are these counters. I've already checked these counters right here, and this one right here at 3S, I believe it is. It's kind of goofy. I might replace that one. I don't think it's a problem, but the signals just aren't that great looking, so I think I'll replace that one anyway. So, yep, okay, yeah, I'm going to get to this area right here and see if that's all functioning correctly. Well, believe it or not, it looks like I got another bad 74 LS74. I've been running into a lot of bad flip-flops lately with board repairs. The one on the left is getting a data signal, and on pin 2, clock is on pin 3, and it's outputting horizontal blank and inverse horizontal blank. That's what that side of that flip-flop is doing. The other side is sending horizontal sync up that way and going through that LS08 over there. I already checked that. That one looked pretty good. It's this flip-flop on that side. And I'm going to check this side too, as if one side's bad, I want to make sure, well, it doesn't matter. If I replace it, I'm replacing it. So, anyway, I'll show you what that 3N 7474 looks like on the scope. Right here it is. Okay, and you can see right there, I'm probing it. You can see this is 7474. It's got some, it's moving a bit. Here's your clock on top. The blue is data, and the output is pink on the bottom. Yep, I was just taking a minute to make sure I had that hooked up right. Yep, it's so you got your clock going away, your data's coming in. Right here it works. It goes up and data's low, so it sends it low. And then data comes back up, and with this pulse, it should have pulsed right here. It's just not it's not working right. Okay. Well, I changed that 7474 right there at 3N, and I put the old 74 in my chip tester, and it tested good. And I'm like, why is this not working the way that I am expecting it to work. Well, this is why. See 3N right there. The clear pin is hooked to a signal. So it's clearing, and when clear goes low, the Q will go low and stay low as long as clear is low. So that's why. And you can see here on the scope that I'm so used to preset and clear being tied high, I didn't even bother to look at the schematic about it. But oh well. I'll just have to put it in the back of my mind, you know, check the preset and the clear on the schematic. But you can see I got preset, or clear is up on top, the yellow. The clock signal is light blue, data signal is pink, and the output Q is in darker blue down on the bottom. And you can see the only time this will work like a free running flip-flop is when clear is high. So you can see it does work like a flip-flop when clear is high, but when that clear signal goes low, then the output will stay low. So yeah, it's working right. But well, at least I got a fresh 7474 in there, and I'll continue to poke around and figure out what is going on with this thing. It just looks like it is just a little bit of a flaky sync signal somewhere. Something's flaky. You know, not something. It's not just a dead line. It's something is flaky. So I'll continue to look for it. All right, I'm sitting here doing a little testing, and I am convinced. I have went through all of my sync signals and they look perfect. This whole counter circuitry for creating the sync signals, I can't find anything wrong, and I still have a freaked out video screen. I am convinced that it's this thing right there, that little RGB to VGA converter. They're $20 on eBay. They're cheap as hell. I've got another one coming in the mail right now. What I need to do is buy an LCD arcade monitor that has the CGA plug in the back. That's what I need for these testing. These things suck. These things are cheap as hell. So I got another one coming, because I think that's the problem. Because I can't find anything wrong with this board. This chip, I pulled this chip out. It's used for sound. This thing had messed up sound anyway, so I'm gonna have to go through all the sound circuitry. I know that the amp is good. I know that the sound amp is good, but something in the sound ain't right, which is no big deal. But I've got to be able to have a solid screen. This is ridiculous, and I've gone through this thing. I have gone through it, and I am convinced that there's nothing wrong with it, because all the sync signals are perfect. It should be syncing, but it's not. So I'm suspecting that it's that little converter board, those cheap $20 converter boards that you get on eBay. So when the new one comes, I'm going to resume with this board. Until then, I'm not messing with it. So I'll see you when I get that board. Well, I'm out in the back garage room. I brought my board out that I've been working on, and I put it in my Pac-Man cocktail game. And as I suspected, The video, there's nothing wrong with it. It was that little converter board that just won't sync. This is actually the board that I was working on. This is the board that came out of my Pac-Man. There's my Space Invaders Deluxe. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and check the controls while I have this thing in the game. I'm gonna coin it up. Okay, I got coin in it. And move it around. Now we do know there's no sound, so the controls work. But there is no sound, which we knew that. It's missing a chip. I got an LS157 not even in it, so I knew it had problems before. So I just wanted to confirm the board with the video. There's nothing wrong with the video. Okay, I'm back in at the bench. I put a new LS157 in the board, the one that I had removed. I put a new one in there, and then go ahead and start it. We know that that's just that board. The sound works fine. Okay, game over. One more time, I'll do the jingle. Put in a coin. So there you got it. We got a completely working board now. New ROM sockets. I'm going to put the addressor cards back in. I just use these for testing. Those are my repair ones that I use. New ROMs. Good clean board. And this will be the final video for this Pac-Man repair. I got the satellite cards reinstalled. I will put the zip ties through to hold them down tight. But yeah, it's good to go.